Does health and fitness help you manage ADHD?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. Yes, definitely. I think that even though I've never been outwardly hyperactive in the sense of when I was younger in the classroom, I was never the destructive kid.
Yeah.
My body's natural expression of my hyperactive tendencies have always been to want to exercise. I've always just been a naturally very active person because I think, I do think that you either are one or the other. Some people genuinely are like, I do not like exercise. I do it because I have to.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, because I know you can relate to this, it's like in your blood.
Yeah.
It's like, is it like in your genetics?
You have 2 days off and you're like, I feel like crap.
Yes, exactly. And whether that's for me, because I've had to learn to like reframe in terms of, I feel like crap after 2 days off exercising, but I don't need to go and kill myself as a result of it. I can just go out for a walk or a bike ride and that is okay.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. But yeah, I would say that it's definitely helped me to channel my internal restlessness and get it out externally. But I did go on a bit of a journey with my fitness as well, because I was obviously in a lot of environments that enabled me to do things in extremes. And I think a lot of athletes and performers could probably relate to this, that then if you do have more of an inclination to have a more all or nothing mindset, which can happen with ADHD, being in certain environments that really bring that out can often not be the healthiest of environments to be in.
Because it becomes their identity in a way, and if they don't if they don't make it in a certain way, or if they fail or they're not performing very well, then if it's part of their identity, then this is where other issues start to arise. I think, and even when athletes say retire, or performers, like who do they become then?
Exactly. So you've got that like self-worth and identity type like wrapped up in that, and then also alongside that, then the kind of obsessive side to how you can be with neurodiversity, like you hyperfixate on things, and then so you've got the combination, and then if you've got low self-worth, which also happens a lot with neurodiverse people, you're almost then using exercise as almost like a punishment to some degree, and you're not accepting, like I went through a huge journey of not accepting a workout unless I was literally like feeling sick.
Okay.
And I know that was also a disordered view of training and exercise, and I also had to work through that too.
Yeah. So you started in dancing, then went to CrossFit and like kind of F45, and with the CrossFit you got introduced to weightlifting as well.
Yes.
What other areas have you kind of dabbled into, or was that kind of the main part?
Yeah, so I'd say it's always, because obviously, the dancing and the CrossFit dancing came first, and the CrossFit was when I was 16. Then I kind of fell out of love with, not out of love, fell out of touch with it.
Yep.
Obviously moved to London, and then I got back into more of the functional fitness stuff. So like you said, the F45s. And then I sort of went back into like the functional CrossFit scene, then more so in the Olympic lifting, all of that stuff. When I was younger, I also did competitive athletics. So I did sprints, cross country as well. What else did I dabble in? I've obviously done skiing since I was little as well.
Well, that's so good. It's giving you such a good foundation to set you up for even now. Like, even though you're not doing those niches or even still sprinting to some degree, but you've kept this athleticism up. And you were telling me recently you were training for High Rocks.
Yes.
You got a bit injured in the process though, but at least it's giving you like still that version of yourself where you can put yourself into a good workout, feel good. You got the athleticism, you got the power, strength. You don't have to worry necessarily about aesthetics.
So true, Cam, so true. And I think that you and I can probably relate to that, which is why I think you have to deal with that with like other people's judgments as well, because people will look at us and like how we look aesthetically and think.
Just a quick announcement before we return to the podcast. If you're enjoying this episode of Midweek Motivation, you may be interested in checking out the Midweek Motivation newsletter, where every week I'll share with you a useful lesson on resilience, mindset, or fitness, or health in general, straight to your inbox. You also receive a free workout of the week, useful resources, and the latest videos that I've got up there. And just if you want to keep updated on my life, you'll find everything there. If you're interested in that, go ahead and hit the link in the description below, or go to Substack and search up Midweek Motivation. All right, let's return to the podcast.
like obviously we've worked hard for it, but also we started that baseline from a very young age. And also just like how you move your body as well. Like I've noticed when we're coaching at F45 and at other environments, some people just naturally don't like, they look like they move in a way that they've always moved in that way.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, like, yeah, from the dancing, from the gymnastics, from everything, and that actually really worked in my favor with CrossFit, sorry.
Yeah.
And how when I was then training properly, I was really into my CrossFit journey probably like 2022, 2023, and I was competing, I was getting really strong, and I had like quite an advantage over a lot of people because I was able to do the gymnastics really well, I was able to lift really well, I was able to do like an all-round of things.
Yeah.
But the thing that kind of was in my way with that more so was the fact that I've got an autoimmune condition. So that's always been my barrier to be able to get to that next level on my fitness journey.
Yep. Is that something that you're still kind of working through now?
Yeah, big time, because we don't really have, because I have a condition called endometriosis, and also another condition called PCOS, but they're both very connected in terms of like female hormones.
Yep.
So that's happening, and then I've also got another condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
I haven't heard that one.
Which is something, yeah, it's a very unique like name, I guess, but it's very common with people with ADHD. I don't quite understand the link yet.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot more research around it. But basically, it's where you have extreme hypermobility in your joints.
Really?
And then your connective tissue around your joints. I don't quite understand it, but it doesn't form in the way that it should. So it creates antibodies to kind of flare up and attack your body, which is what an autoimmune condition, I guess, is. So again, going back to the whole baseline fitness thing, oh my gosh, you're so flexible. Oh my gosh, you're this.
Which helps with weightlifting.
It helps a lot, and which is why Ollie lifting, I'm very naturally, like obviously I'm not as good as you, but I naturally look like I can do these things. But also, you have to put a cap on how bendy you are, because it's actually not a good thing to some degree.
Yeah, you have to build strength in those end ranges for longevity.
So I have to be very careful, which is why I'm at the point I am now in my fitness journey, where my health comes first before anything.
Yep.
And I'm just figuring it all out, but I've really scaled back my training at the moment, not because I don't have the mental capacity to want to do higher ups, to do all these things, but it's more my body will flare up and I'll have all these inflammatory issues.
Yep.
So is it worth it at this moment in time?
Yep.
But I still train like 5 times a week, 6 times a week.
Yeah, which is still more than the average person.
Yeah, but it's just the output in those sessions, apart from my dance class on a Wednesday, which my body seems to still really like.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt my body in the way that other movements do. But when I know that I eventually want to return back to CrossFit and Ollie lifting, I'll definitely have to be... It's interesting though, because like Olympic lifting on its own as a separate, like just focusing on that one thing alone would be fine. Focusing on ergs alone would be fine. It's when there's lots of things in one, like barbell cycling for me is definitely, if you're in a workout and you're doing like a run and then a barbell cycling, that's when my body will be like, you need to be in bed after that.
Yeah.
And I'll be physically in pain.
Yeah.
So it's just testing out like what your body can do and what it can't at this moment in time, really.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.